the District Court of Greenwood County, Kansas. This matter does come on for a preliminary hearing in case number 2025 CR 32, State of Kansas versus Misty Dawn Sprague, County Attorney Jill Gillette appearing for the state, Attorney Joseph Favre appearing for the defendant. Misty Dawn Sprague, is that you appearing as Misty Dutra? And we are still set for preliminary hearing, Mr. Favre?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gillette, are you ready to proceed? I see you have a number of witnesses subpoenaed and present.
I do have a number of witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, please proceed.
Your Honor, we'll start with Deputy Lazar.
Okay, Deputy, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please proceed, Ms. Gillette.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Lawrence Michael Lazar.
And how are you employed?
I'm a deputy with the Greenwood County Sheriff's Office.
And were you dispatched to investigate this matter?
I was.
And who were you dispatched to visit with?
I was dispatched to talk to Mr. John Russell.
And is that one of the alleged victims in this matter?
It is.
And is he here with us today on the screen?
He is.
Now, when you visited with him, where did you reside? Where did you respond to?
417 Santa Fe in Madison, Kansas.
Is that what-
Judge, I'm sorry, Joe. Judge, I apologize. I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I'd like to ask that Mr. Russell be sequestered, please, on this.
Misty, what that means, Mr. Russell, is, and it's not unusual, it's customary in any kind of hearing like this, you're going to need to wait in a breakout room so that you don't hear the testimony. We'll bring you back in.
And him and his wife are in the same location, Your Honor. They're both witnesses.
Okay, so we'll both need to put you both in a breakout room. So Missy, if you would, don't leave the hearing though. All right, please proceed.
Now, is 417 Santa Fe Street, Madison, Kansas, within the bounds of Greenwood County?
It is.
And what date did you respond to start taking a report?
August 3rd of 2024.
And as you were taking the report, what date did you figure out was the date that items had been removed and not been returned to that residence?
The items have been removed between the August 3rd and August 8th, I do believe.
Now, were items delivered, well, let me back up and rephrase that. Did the Mr. Russell and his wife pay the contractors to come and order supplies for the job they were supposed to do?
They did.
Judge, I'm sorry, I have to object. I feel like we're kind of leading a little bit. I don't
Yeah.
quite know.
If we could go back and just have the witness pick up where he was dispatched to John Russell's, why was he dispatched, and maybe kind of walk us through from there, because I have a hard time basically keeping up, and I think that would stop some of the leading concerns. You can just kind of tell it in a name.
What was the initial concern why you were dispatched there?
For text message he'd received from an Eric Killian that works for Accent Cross Construction.
Okay. And were the text messages giving him concerns?
They were.
And what were the nature of those text messages?
From the ones I read, they were fairly threatening.
And while you were there responding to the text messages, what was the next thing that they discussed with you about Axe and Cross Construction?
Or if maybe you could tell us what their connection was to this construction company and
Right.
go from there.
They hired the construction company to do some work on another property there in Madison.
And did they provide you with a copy of the contract that they were supposed to work?
I believe they did.
All right. Did you make any changes or corrections to that contract?
I did not.
Was there some handwriting on the contract when you already received it?
There was.
And was it provided in that form to you?
It was.
Your Honor, we're going to admit that contract when we get the alleged victims on the witness stand because they're the ones that actually wrote on it and had it in their possession. But I just want to mark the chain of custody that it wasn't changed at all between them and my receiving it.
Is that State's Exhibit 1 contract?
It will be State's Exhibit 1.
Okay.
And officer, did they also provide you with copies of checks that had been paid to the construction company?
I believe it was 2 checks.
Were there any changes or corrections to those checks? Are they true and accurate depictions of the date and time you received them?
They would be just like I received them on that date.
Judge, those will be State's Exhibit 2 and 3.
All right.
I just, again, tracking the chain of custody.
Okay.
And Deputy, were you able to ascertain the business records of the recording of the company Axe and Cross General Construction and Landscaping LLC from the Kansas Secretary of State's?
Yes.
Judge, we'll be marking the business record search for Axe and Cross General Constructing and Landscaping Services State's Exhibit 4. It's a duly kept record in the office of the Kansas Secretary of State, Chris Kobach. Or sorry, there's a new one, Mr. Schwab. And that is a routine record belonging to the state and is admissible on its own accord.
What kind of record is it?
It's the record from the Kansas Secretary of State of the business filing for
Okay.
Axe and Cross General Construction and Landscaping LLC.
All right. So it's a filing that they are a business doing business in Kansas.
Correct.
All right.
Your Honor, permission to publish that record?
Any objection, Mr. Favre? I'm still not sure of the sequence of where we're going with this, but.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, that's fine.
Miss C will have to turn on sharing.
Let's see if you would, please.
And Your Honor, we'll just slowly scroll through it so you can see who all the registered agent is and responsible parties for the.
So Misty Sprague is the. Went a little fast for me there. She's the registered representative,
It should be the registered.
agent. Okay, and they have an office in, what was that town? Registered office, Yates Center, okay.
And that's the end of the record, Your Honor.
Okay, and that, all right. So no. All right, so far we have the officer called out to Mr. Russell's residence, and it has something to do with a concern about this this business and a contract he had with them. Is that right?
Correct. All right. So, now had supplies been delivered under the contract to the residents in Madison?
That's my understanding, yes.
What kind of supplies had been delivered to your knowledge?
General building supplies like lumber, plywood, sheetrock.
And these items were to be used at the residence in Madison?
That's my understanding.
And
So what was the contract for? What were they supposed to do with this material?
From my understanding, Judge, they were remodeling the house there in Madison.
Okay.
now, when the supplies were delivered to the house for the construction on the house, did the supplies stay there?
I know because Mr. Russell came back on August 8th of 24 due to after he paid for the supplies that they got in a big argument and the supplies left.
Okay. And had the check for the cost of the supplies been cashed?
Yes, both checks had.
And were they concerned about the fact that the supplies were missing?
They were.
And did the co-worker employee of Axe and Cross Construction admit that he had taken the supplies?
That's what Mr. Russell told me.
What
Was
did Mr. Russell tell you? I'm sorry, Ms. Gillette, keep interrupting, but what did Mr. Russell tell you?
That Mr. Killian had come in and told him since they hadn't paid up fully that they had taken the supplies back.
Okay, thank you.
now the check though for the cost of those supplies had already been cashed and you had been given a copy of that?
Correct.
Who was the individual who signed the back of the check?
Miss Sprague.
Is that the defendant here with us?
It is.
And is she here on the screen?
She is.
Could you identify her for us?
Long dark hair, glasses, pink shirt.
Is Misty Dutra an alias name that you go by? Is that one? Or Mr.
No, ma'am, that's my maiden name. I'm in the middle of a divorce.
So what's your legal name?
Right now it's Sprague. I don't know why it says it on Zoom.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead then.
I tried
So what
changing
was
it. It won't let me change it.
Well, Missy might be able to change it. Yeah, in any event, for the record, he's identified Misty Sprague.
I've
I'm
never
not sure
seen it.
who, because I'm having a little trouble following this.
Me
Go
too.
ahead.
How much had been paid for the supplies?
$25,777.
And so as you're investigating, the company received that money and then also came and got all of the supplies.
Correct.
So the Russells were out the supplies and how much?
$25,777.
Okay, guys, I gotta try to track this. Okay, so Mr. Russell hired Miss Sprague's company to come do a remodel, and he paid her $25,777 for materials. Am I right so far, Miss Gillette?
Yes.
And then somehow Mr. Russell and the company got crossways. He'd already paid the materials, but because they got crossways, somebody came out and took the materials while he was gone. Am I right to that point?
Yes.
All right, okay.
Has the money or the materials been returned to the Russells?
Not to my knowledge.
And so was there an additional check paid for services they were supposed to be rendering to them?
All I know are the two checks that Miss Sprague cashed.
All right. And Your Honor, we're going to get to the Russells because they'll have a lot more to say about this and be able to enter the contract and the check. So I'm going to pass this witness to the defense.
All right, ready, Your Honor?
I'm ready. Go for it.
All right. All right, Deputy Lazar. So I think I understand your testimony to be that on August 3rd, you were called out for a text message that Mr. Russell received from an Eric Killian. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's why you were called out. You went out there and you got some text messages and they looked threatening. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then before we rush into kind of mixing up this stuff, that day, August 3rd, what did you do with those text messages? Anything?
I made copies and added them to a report.
Were any of those text messages from Misty Sprague?
No.
Okay. Okay. And who is Eric Killian?
To my knowledge, he was an employee and I believe the spouse of Miss Sprague.
Okay. So you think he's an employee and the spouse of Miss Sprague. Why do you think that?
Just from reading the text messages,
Okay.
he refers to her as his wife.
Okay. So in the text messages, he says Misty Sprague or Misty, the text message that you saw, that you provided.
No, he doesn't
No.
list her by name.
So I'm confused as to, he does say something about his wife, correct?
Correct.
So why are you linking his wife with Misty Sprague?
Because on one of the text messages that Mr. Russell showed me, he sent Killian sent Mr. Russell a booking report that showed Killian's supposed wife, Miss Sprague, was arrested in Woodson County on 8/2. And he refers to that as her being his wife.
Okay, so Russell shows you a message from Killian with a booking report from Miss Sprague in Woodson County. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay. And so that day, and that occurred on August 8th, is that right? That message was shown to you?
He showed it to me on August 3rd. The message was
August
sent
3rd.
August 2nd.
Okay, okay. Okay, got you. So when do you start switching your focus from this? None of this sounds like a theft so far. So when do you start shifting your focus from all this stuff to a theft?
Mr. Russell came back to the sheriff's office on August 8th and wanted to report theft of property.
Okay. Theft of property. And tell me again what he told you that he thought constituted a theft.
That he had paid for all the supplies. Then him and the company got into a tiff, and next thing he knows, all the supplies are gone.
Okay, so he pays this company for supplies. They sign a contract, presumably,
Correct.
right? Then him and the company get in a tiff and the supplies disappear.
Correct.
Okay. And the contract he signed, was it with Mr. Killian? Was it with Miss Sprague? Who was the contract with?
The Axe Cross General Construction.
Axe Cross General Construction. Okay. We've already seen the Secretary of State site that lists Miss Sprague as the registered agent. Now, is the registered agent the same thing as an owner of a business?
My understanding, she is the owner of the business.
That's not what I asked you. I said, is a registered agent the same thing as the owner of a business?
If he can say, he may
I
not
don't know.
have.
You may not know. Okay. if I was to say to you that it's not necessarily the owner of the business, you would not dispute that, I'm guessing.
No,
Why do you think Miss Sprague is the owner of the business?
because hers is the only name I can find that was linked to it.
Ah, so this is, you don't have any evidence that she's the owner. This is an assumption you're making.
Correct.
Okay. So let's talk about the actual work. Now, when you were speaking to Mr. Russell, did he tell you who took the property back?
If I remember correctly, he said it was Eric Killian.
Eric Killian did. And how did he know Eric Killian did that?
I believe Eric told him he did.
Eric said, I took it back. Something to that effect.
If I remember correctly, yes.
Okay. Did he have any video evidence of people taking the materials off his property?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did he provide any possible witnesses who saw the people taking stuff off the property?
He did not.
Did anybody ever see Misty Sprague on the property ever?
If I remember, she was there off and on from when the contract was signed till they got into the TIF.
To your knowledge, was she ever seen on the property taking materials off the property?
No.
I'm assuming based on this report of a theft of materials that you went and investigated Axe and Cross immediately to try to locate the materials. Is that accurate?
I don't believe I did talk to Axe and Cross at all.
So what did you do? What investigation did you do to try to locate the materials, to try to track down possible thieves? What did you do?
None, I guess.
None of you guys. Okay. So is it fair to say that essentially the chain of logic goes like this, that he reports a theft, he says it's Killian, you know that Killian works for Axe and Cross, you know that Axe and Cross has a registered agent that's Miss Sprague, therefore Miss Sprague stole the materials. Is that it?
Sure.
Okay. So just to be absolutely clear, no one ever saw Miss Sprague with the materials. Nobody has a report of Miss Sprague turning the materials in. Like there's no link between Miss Sprague and the actual materials being taken. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Deputy, you have the benefit of your written report in front of you to refresh your recollection.
I do.
Okay. All right, Miss Gillette, any redirect?
Officer, was any of the funds ever returned that Miss Sprague cashed to the Russells?
Not that I was advised of.
So the money for the cost of the supplies that were removed, was any of it returned, or did the money remain with Miss Sprague?
Judge, I would object to the relevance of this inquiry. The state has alleged that Miss Sprague took construction materials, and that there's no allegation that there's possible statutes on the crime for false business transactions, other things of that nature that involve, taking money. But the allegation is that she took materials, and this constant inquiry about the money is not really very relevant to that.
It is relevant because it's part of theft, and it's $25,000 that was not ever returned to the victims.
Well, looking at the charging document, it says on or about the 3rd day of August, 2024 in Greenwood County, Kansas, Misty D. Sprague, then and there, contrary to the statutes of the state of Kansas, did unlawfully and knowingly obtain or exert unauthorized control over property or services with the intent to permanently deprive the owner, to wit, John Russell, of the possession, use, or benefit of the owner's property or services, to wit, construction supplies and materials valued greater than $25,000 but less than $100,000 approximate value $25,777. The 25,000, end quote. The value of 25,770 certainly appears to reference not the money in the bank account or the checks, but the value of construction supplies and materials. So I sustain any objections as far as the money beyond using it to establish the value of the supplies and materials, because that is what the court has to decide is, did this defendant take without authority these supplies and materials?
Right, and we can amend the complaint up until,
You can.
and at the end of the preliminary hearing. Your
Are
Honor,
you doing so, or?
we will be doing so. Your Honor, we would, I'll pass the witness back to the defense.
Mr. Favre, any recross?
I have no further questions for them.
All right. Thank you, Deputy Lazar. Does he need to stay or can he go if he wishes?
And he'll just stay in case we need him.
All right. Thank you, Deputy. If you'll just make yourself available. And who would you like to call next?
Your Honor, I'll be calling Melinda Russell next.
Let's see if you'll bring Melinda Russell. And I think he's going to have to, Mr. Russell, we need Melinda Russell, you're going to have to turn off one of your devices. I'm getting a feedback like maybe you have two computers, two telephones, something. Okay, I think one of them, no, it's still. You still have another computer on or a telephone on or something?
I do have a TV on, or
Is it-
no, a phone. I'm sorry. I'll turn it
Okay,
off.
yeah. If you'll turn that off, that way I won't have that feedback. Now, the witness that has been called is, well, she's not an endorsed witness. What did you say her name was, Ms. Gillette?
Melinda Russell.
Melinda Russell. Now, because your witnesses are sequestered, Mr. Russell, you're going to have to leave the room where you can't hear her testimony and you can't watch it on YouTube either. You have to, so you don't hear her testimony.
Oh, okay.
And I realize because it's on Zoom, I have to take your word for it. But if I find out he's listening, then I can do something about it in another manner. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ms. Gillette, if you want to call your witness.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Well,
Linda
let's swear.
Russell.
Let's raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. You may lower your hand, and Ms. Gillette, you may inquire.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Melinda Lee Russell.
And are you one of the alleged victims in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the address you were contracting with Axe and Cross Construction, General Construction and Landscaping for?
It was 714 South 4th Street, Madison, Kansas, 66860.
And what were you having done at that house?
We were having pretty much a complete remodel from pretty much a complete remodel.
And did you enter into a contract with them?
Yes, ma'am.
When you entered into the contract with them, did you guys write on that contract?
What do you mean write on it?
Did you make some notes on the front page of it?
I would have no idea on that. It's possible.
All right. And Did you see that contract and you and your husband provide it to the officer?
I believe so. Yes, that's correct.
Is it a true and accurate depiction of the contract that you received?
Yes.
Have there been any modifications, corrections, or changes to it?
I think at one point in time, there was some corrections that were made to the original contract for some different type of work that we had requested.
And does the written contract, did you guys make any other modifications to it after you signed it?
We did not know.
Your Honor, I'd move to admit the contract into evidence as states Exhibit 1.
Mr. Fabre, do you have a copy
Judge,
of this?
I don't know what contract we're talking about. If she could, like, I don't know, put it up and have Miss
Russell?
Miss Russell verify that this is the contract we're talking about, maybe that would be helpful, but I really have no idea what contract we're talking about.
Mr. Fabre, it's in the discovery that was sent over to you.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
put it up there, like you said, make sure the one in the discovery is the one that we're talking about.
And Ms. Russell, is this the contract that you guys entered into?
Yes, ma'am.
And does it contain 5 pages?
Yes, ma'am.
And does it set out amounts that needed to be paid?
I believe it did.
And were there breakdowns in payments for materials?
Materials and labor. Yes, ma'am.
And did you write an initial check for those materials, or did Mr. Russell?
I believe John did for the materials.
Now, when you entered into the contract, do you recall what date they came out and started working?
All right, are you gonna try to admit that contract then, again, Ms. Gillette?
Your Honor, we'd move to admit the contract. Usually it's admitted before I publish it, but we'd move to admit the contract.
No objection.
All right, admitted.
Did you visit with Ms. Sprague directly?
Yes, ma'am.
And how often did you visit with her directly?
Multiple times.
And was it by phone or by only text?
Both.
And was she involved in negotiating all of this business?
Highly, yes, ma'am.
And could you tell us about your communications with her?
Communications starting with the initial phone calls. She was the one that I spoke with to retain them as a contractor. And the phone calls went, basically, I have a whole thread of text messages that I can provide. Her phone calls were about the work, about the money that is needed, when they were going to be there, when they weren't going to be there, all different kinds of things.
Okay. Was there a payment schedule for the work also set out?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the way that you were supposed to pay for the work?
I believe it was 4 or 5 installments. Basically, the labor was pretty much going to be paid in advance. Not all of it was in advance, but the core of it was. With scheduled payments, I think weekly, I believe, if I remember right, if that's what they were. And I can get the contract out and look at that and my check stubs.
Did you make any other payments besides the ones for the materials?
The labor payments.
And how many labor payments did you make?
I believe I made, I can look, I believe I made 4 and we withheld the 5th one, I believe it was.
Why was the 5th one withheld?
Because there was nothing being done on the house. We were not getting any work done. There was no labor being done. There was no materials that had been put up. They were sitting on a flatbed truck. There was just nothing being done.
And when the materials arrived on the flatbed truck, were they the 2 checks that you had provided us that your husband had written?
I'm not sure what all of the materials that were. There was a bunch of lumber and everything that was on there, so I don't know. I wouldn't know the amounts of that. My husband would.
And was the lumber ever unloaded at your home?
No, not that I ever saw.
And then did the materials get taken from the site?
The materials that were on the flatbed, those were gone
Now-
when we didn't pay the last payment of labor.
Miss Sprague wasn't involved in the text messaging threats to you, though. She that was someone else.
That was someone else.
And that was the initial reason that you called an officer out.
Correct.
Did Miss Sprague ever return the materials to you or have them returned?
No, ma'am.
And did she ever return the money that you paid for the materials?
No, ma'am.
And do you recall the value of the materials?
I believe it was approximately $25,000 in materials.
And has any efforts from Miss Sprague been made to return the money or value of the materials or the materials themselves?
No, ma'am.
And has her employee ever brought them back?
No, ma'am.
All right. And
Dead.
now, did she ever indicate to you that she was an owner in the company?
Yes. I mean, as far as we understood, she was. Her name was on everything along. Yep.
And who was her employee that she referred to as her employee?
Eric.
And what do you remember his last name?
Eric. It's ERIK. I don't remember his last name. It's Axe Construction.
Okay. Did you ever negotiate with Eric?
No, we always negotiated. Misty always had the financial aspect of it.
And I will pass this witness to the defense, Your Honor.
Mr. Favre, cross-examination.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Russell, I'd like to kind of figure out between you and your husband who did what, because it sounds like he signed some checks and you, I'm a little confused. Who was the one who initially contacted Axe and Cross?
I believe I was.
You were. And when you contacted Axe and Cross, you spoke to Eric or you spoke to Misty?
I spoke to both of them. We actually did a phone call together where we were on the phone call together with Eric, and it was me, Eric, and Misty.
Okay.
I had actually called Misty or called the Axe and Cross number, and Misty is the one that called me back.
Gotcha. And you said that because Misty was handling the financial, you kind of assumed she was the owner, but you didn't sound like it didn't sound like you knew she was the owner. It sounds like you weren't sure of that.
I assumed she was part of as the owner, as if she did everything.
I see. Now, Ms. Gillette, would you put that contract back up, please?
Sure. Hang on a second.
Thanks.
Grab my phone.
Okay. All right, Miss Russell, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
This is the contract that you signed with Axe and Cross Construction, correct?
Correct.
And that was admitted already. I think it was State's Exhibit 2, I think. It says from at the top. Who does it say it's from?
Eric Killian,
Eric Killian. And what is Eric Killian's email address?
axecrossgeneralconstruction@gmail.com.
Okay. And then if you go down and Wreckers 1, is that you or is that your husband?
That is John.
That's John. Okay, so he's communicating with John. Eric is sending this contract to John, correct?
Correct.
All right,
To
now
his-
let's go down to the next paragraph here. Axe and Cross General Construction and Landscaping LLC. Do you see that?
Correct.
You see the address.
Mm-hmm.
You see Yates Center, correct?
Correct.
Who's the first person listed underneath Yates Center?
Eric Killian. Sorry.
Oh man, it's okay. My dogs do the same thing. It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
I get it.
May I step away for just a second? Get him.
Hi, I'm sorry to set off the dog. We had this in our mail. We're at 5426, so.
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So we were at Eric Killian on that first paragraph there. And then underneath that, do you see what it says underneath that? Do you see where it says Misty?
Correct.
And what does it say Misty's title is?
Office manager.
Office manager. Okay. So then we're going to go down here and go down this contract. On the right side, there's a bunch of writing. June 10th, started work. Is that your writing or is that your husband's writing?
Can you scroll a little bit? June 10th, that is my writing.
Okay, so this is you commenting on this contract. June 10th is when work was started. And then last day they were there, July 25th. Is that your recollection? You're making notes here?
Correct.
Okay. So then as we go down on the left side, we have all these jobs, job A, job B, job C, and then going down through pages 2. Going into the next page, underneath job H, the mudroom, we have the payment schedule. And I think this is the payments you were discussing earlier, correct?
Correct.
So it says materials 25,777.
Correct.
That is your recollection of what the materials costs, right?
That's the materials down payment, yes.
Okay. And that's the amount that you're alleging that was taken. Is that right? The $25,000 worth of materials?
Correct.
Okay. So then if we go all the way back to the last page of this contract, there's some more job information. Very last page of this contract, it says Axe and Cross General Construction, Operations Manager Misty Sprague. You see that?
Correct.
And then underneath that, it says Contractor and Job Superintendent Eric Killian, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then if we go down to the very bottom, we have another signature, and it was signed by Miss Sprague Killian. And what did she put as her title underneath there?
Office manager.
Office manager. Okay, and Mr. Killian. Now I'm assuming you can go ahead and close the contract out, Jill. Thank you. I'm assuming Miss Russell that Miss Sprague wasn't out there on the job site doing most of this work. I'm assuming it was Mr. Killian and other people. Is that accurate?
That is not accurate.
Oh, Miss Sprague was doing most of the work. Okay.
No,
No. Oh,
Eric was doing most of the work and she was helping.
she was helping. Okay. So she was out there. So then at some point, you and Mr. Russell and Mr. Killian get sideways. It sounds like there was some threatening text sent by Mr. Killian. And I guess that's what led you to initially call out the deputies. Is that right?
Correct.
The threats made by him. Okay. And then at some point, the materials disappeared. When did the materials disappear?
I would have to get with John on that date. I don't know the specific date.
Okay.
I do know that it was after we would not pay them any more labor because nothing had been done.
Gotcha. So let's talk about that. Nothing had been done. So how much work was done prior to the materials that were on the flatbed disappearing?
Let's see. Asbestos was thrown away. There was a little bit of demo done on the inside. And I think there was some wood that was put up over some windows.
Okay. And the materials that were purchased were sitting on the flatbed. None of those were ever used.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. So I'm sorry, you said you don't know what day those materials disappeared.
I can probably tell you here. I don't have a. I believe it was around July 25th, give or take a day. I'm looking at the last text that she sent me.
So you think those materials were taken July 25th?
Approximately.
Approximately. Okay. And were you there when those materials were taken?
No, sir.
Did any of your neighbors see who took the materials?
I don't know that for sure.
Do you have any cameras or any other security systems set up that captured the video of who took the materials?
No.
Did Mr. Trimble tell you he took the materials? Mr. Killian?
No.
He never did.
Nope.
Okay, so then do you have any idea who took the materials in?
I'm assuming it's Eric.
And that assumption is based mostly on your bad feelings, but not based on anything that he said or any other evidence.
It's actually based on a text message that I believe it's on John's phone, that if we didn't pay him the last installment, that they would come and take all the materials and stop work.
Okay,
And
that
we
was
have
from
writing.
that was from Eric, right?
I don't know if it was from Eric or Misty. I
Okay.
don't have John's phone, so I don't know that.
Okay, so you're basing it on that text message which your husband has. That's why you think it was Eric.
Yeah, I believe that we were up there that morning, and by that afternoon, that stuff was gone after the conversations happened. If I recall correctly.
The deputy testified that you originally called him out on the text messages on August 3rd, I believe, but it sounds like you didn't report these missing materials until August 8th. So is there some reason why, if they were taken on July 25th, you didn't report those to him on the initial police call?
Well, I believe there was some, and again, this is on John's phone, on his messages. That is a question you would have to ask him.
Okay.
I believe there was some communication still between Misty and I don't know the dates on that.
Okay. So just to wrap up your testimony, I think if I understand your testimony correctly, the materials you think were there on the 25th, you think they were taken that day. You are basing your assumption that it was taken by Eric based on a text message that you think you remember from John's phone. And that's the extent of your knowledge of who took the materials. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Redirect, Ms. Gillette.
Was John the one that was keeping track of mostly what was going on over at the house that was being worked on?
I would say we both were. But yes, I mean, he was a big part of that also.
And did you contact Miss Sprague to ask for the materials to be brought back?
Believe there was some communication in trying to work some stuff out, and that did not happen.
And did she ever have the materials brought back, replace them, or pay you for them?
We've had no money returned. We've had no materials returned back to us.
All right. I don't know if Mr. Fabre has any follow-up over those questions that I asked.
I do. Yeah, so I didn't quite understand the answer. I think Ms. Gillette asked if you had communications asking her to bring materials back, and it sounds like the answer was maybe a no, you hadn't, but you'd been discussing other things. Like, do you actually have a text message saying, bring my materials back, and she responded to you?
I do not have a text message that says exactly that, no.
Okay. Do you have any text messages to Ms. Sprague saying, I took you took my materials, and she said she admitted it, or something like that?
I do not.
No,
But
you
it
don't.
is,
Okay.
I do not.
Okay. But it does exist out there, right?
I would need to look, I mean, that would be a question for my husband on what's on his phone.
Okay. So just from your end, just to be clear, never in your communications with Ms. Sprague did she ever say, I have your materials, I took them, nothing to that effect, correct?
No.
Okay. So no further questions for this witness.
Next witness.
Your Honor, we'll be calling John Russell.
All right, would you please get Mr. Russell, Mrs. Russell?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm guessing they'll make you leave too. I don't know.
No, she's already testified. She's fine.
Okay, all righty.
Yeah, she can stay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll wait for you to swear him in, Your Honor.
What are we waiting for? Oh, to swear him in. Sure.
Oh.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Please proceed, Miss Gillette.
Could you please state your name for the record?
John Russell.
And Mr. Russell, do you know Miss Sprague that's here with us?
Unfortunately, I do.
And can you identify her for us on the screen?
I don't know where she went. She was up here earlier. I don't.
You may have to scroll up or down.
Yeah, I tried to there. Let's see.
Sometimes there's speaker view and sometimes there's gallery view. And the gallery view often looks like the Brady Bunch 9 squares.
Okay, yep, I see her.
Okay. Could you please identify what she's wearing?
Looks like a pink shirt, some glasses, long hair, dark.
All right. Now, we've already entered into evidence a contract you entered into with Miss Sprague. Did you speak with Miss Sprague?
Numerous times.
And did she ever represent that she was an owner of the company?
Yeah.
Oh, I lost him.
Lost you, Mr. Russell. Can you adjust your screen or something of that sort? Can you hear us, Mr. Russell? Now, what does that mean, Missy?
Not quite sure. He's not muted, but his camera went off.
He's not answering.
No.
Well, he may have to disconnect and come back. No. Missy, I wonder if you would disconnect him, if that would force him to come back, do you think?
I don't know if I removed them, if they're allowed to come back.
Oh, that's right. You've told me that before. Oh, goodness. Ms. Gillette, do you have any way of reaching him by text or anything like that, email?
I
See
will,
what he's got?
I will try and call them back. If you give me just a second,
Sure. But they say they were in Madison. It's usually a pretty
They go-
decent connection.
They just left.
Ah. Well. This has been a challenging hearing. Ms. Sprague, where are you headed to? I don't want to lose you
To the
too.
restroom real fast.
Well, first of all, you probably ought to ask, and second of all, don't take your camera in the restroom with you while we're watching.
No, I wasn't going to, Your Honor. I was gonna leave you outside, but I didn't want to leave the phone.
All right, well, ask for a recess and it is granted, but don't
Oh,
just,
thank you so
All right.
much.
all right, but don't take us with you.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No.
I did that once accidentally. It was horrible.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought I was waiting for a warrant to show cause docket, and I thought had turned my camera off, and I had to go to the bathroom really bad. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah, it
my
was
God.
bad.
Oh, my
Luckily,
God.
nobody saw anything, but it was super embarrassing.
Well,
They're
the more you tell it, the less embarrassing it is, especially
Yeah.
like told it live on YouTube.
Judge, their computer did an automatic update in the middle of the hearing.
What did?
The computer they're on did an automatic,
Oh,
so it restarted itself.
that sounds like something mine would do.
They're getting logged back on here just briefly. We had a law professor who went to the bathroom with his mic on during this. We could hear it all. He was pretty impressed.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Funny.
Well, Missy and I won't talk about what happened a couple of times on our traffic docket.
I have had a defendant appear from a bathroom. She was
Oh,
not,
yeah.
she was sitting on the toilet.
No, we're back in court.
Sorry about that.
All right, we're back on the record. Please proceed. You have to turn off that one of those devices, though. We got that
Yeah.
echo again.
Let me put it over here. How's that?
Better. All right, Ms. Gillette.
All right. All right. I believe we were talking about Miss Sprague's representations. Did she represent to you that she was an owner of the company?
She did.
And did she represent to you that she helped manage everything?
She did.
And we've seen the contract. Did you email back and forth with her and Eric, or just with the one?
Email, text, phone calls, all the above.
Okay. Now, when you were conversing with her, did you write the checks out to the company and to her?
To the company. She took them, yes.
All
Or
right.
she had me set them somewhere and then she came and got them.
Okay. Was that there in Madison?
Madison, I drove over to Yates Center and delivered them.
Okay. Now, when you had given her the checks, did you provide the copies of the cash checks to the officer in this matter that was investigating?
I don't remember if I had received them yet. I know that I had emailed my bank and asked them to send them to me. I don't remember if I'd provided them to the officer or if it was the attorney that I ended up hiring.
And are they true and correct copies that you received of the cashed checks?
Yes.
And did you make any corrections or modifications or additions to them?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, we will move to admit the checks in this matter as Exhibit 2 for check number 1351 and Exhibit 3 for check number 1349.
Any objection for purposes of prelim?
No.
Very well granted.
Your Honor, permission to publish Exhibit 2, check 1351.
Go ahead.
And Mr. Russell, is this the copy of the canceled check that you received, number 1351?
Yes.
And who signed the back of the check?
Misty Sprague.
Did she sign as any kind of office for the company or just her name?
Just her name.
And you did, in fact, give that check to her.
I've given her, I don't know if it was this specific one. I have given her checks. I've given Eric checks. I've left them in places. So I can't remember. I didn't document, okay, check 1351. I dropped to Misty. Check 1385. I dropped to Eric. I didn't keep all that, and I should have. I didn't realize what I was dealing with.
And did you give them check number 1349?
Yes.
Permission to share State's Exhibit 3, check 1349.
Go ahead.
And is this the true copy of the check 1349?
Yes.
And who signed for that check?
Misty Sprague.
Did she sign as a business or in any special entity or just her name as a person?
Just her name.
And did you request that they bring you the supplies back to the house?
I'm sorry. Rephrase the question.
Did you request the construction supplies back?
Yes.
And who did you request that from?
It was either, I believe it was Misty, because she said they had them and they would bring employees back and they would bring the materials back once the last payment was made. Somewhere that's not verbatim, but along those lines, that is how it was interpreted.
Can we take the screen share down, Ms. Gillette?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And so she indicated to you that she had the supplies or knew where they were and would have them brought back as soon as she got that payment.
Yeah, it was in a text or an email. It was one. It was, yes.
Okay. And so did she ever bring the supplies back or refund the money for the supplies?
No.
Okay. Now, I asked your wife a similar question, but I'm going to ask you, were the supplies used at the house?
No, they were new supplies.
Did they use any of them on the work at the
I would say there was like 5 pieces of siding installed and the wrong windows were installed on one side, and that was it.
Okay.
And the rest were just laying out on in the backyard on some 2x4s.
Okay.
And it wasn't even all of them. There was more that needed to be delivered and never happened.
Okay.
Along with they had some
I have to ask you a question for you, Dan.
Okay. All right.
Now, what supplies were missing that you had paid for?
Well, I'd have to go back through the list. There there was some, let's see, I should have taken photos of that in the backyard. I know there was plywood back there. There was some lumber. There was some siding. There wasn't any paint. I don't know. I'd need to see the list. I wrote some notes out at some point, and we've moved, and I couldn't find them when I looked for them the other day. So that's been a year ago, and I wish I still had the memory to be able to recite that. But at this point, I'm unable to.
Okay. Now, who was present to work on the house?
Well, initially it was Misty and Eric. And so they started late. And so the agreement was, we'd pay them weekly, a labor deal. And so we paid them a labor deal. And then we were supposed to walk through and everybody approve what was performed. Well, we paid them some labor up front and then never did any walkthroughs. No work was being performed. And then they still wanted labor checks. And then they started sending in people. I had some neighbors kind of keeping an eye on them. They were sending these kids over there. They were on their phones and doing this, doing that, just really tearing stuff up. And it really became an issue. And so we started having some discussions.
Okay. Now, with that stuff happening, was there a civil case filed somewhere else?
Not by us.
Okay.
Should have, but.
Now, is there have you had any communications with Eric?
Not since he threatened me.
And have you asked for a no contact order with Eric?
I talked to the Greenwood County Sheriff's Department about it.
Okay. And do you remember, was the value for the supplies the amount of those 2 checks?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
And Judge, I just note for the record, the checks were $10,000 and $15,777. I don't remember if there was some cents on that. I don't think there was. Okay. Did the Axe and Cross Company ever come out and finish the house?
No, ma'am.
And when did you stop communicating with Misty Sprague?
Well, she got arrested August 2nd. So I would say it would have been the last week of July is where around July 25th is when, some of the final conversations, because then they started telling us that we had some bad areas on the house and that we needed to ante up some more money. And I was like, what? We had some other people come in and inspect it, and they said there's nothing wrong. And they were asking for another $8,000, and it just started getting really weird. And so it was around the 25th or 26th were some of the final conversations I was having with Misty. And then that last week of July, he started sending me these strange texts, accusing me of having inappropriate relations with her, all sorts of weird stuff, threatening me. And then he sends me one text on the August 1st or 2nd that threatening me that I'd finally done it. she had tried to shoot him or do something, and she was in jail. And I'm like, this is complete chaos. I've got to figure out something. So that's when I contacted the Greenwood County Sheriff's Office. I was like, this is asinine. No one lives this way. I didn't think.
So when
And
did you notice the supplies disappeared?
it would have been that last week of July 2020, somewhere the 27th, 28th. Because I was going up there, they had the supplies were still there, and they still had the scaffolding, and then that disappeared. And then I got a note from a rental company that said they must have came and got it because they weren't paying. And somebody, one of them, Misty or Eric one, had left them where the address of where they were, they could go pick them up. And so they came and got them.
Okay. All right, I will pass this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Fabre.
Okay, well, there's a lot in here. All right, let's start with the representations. So I think your testimony was that you have text messages where Miss Sprague identifies herself as the owner of this company. Is that what you
Nope.
said?
I did not say that.
Oh,
I
you
said
didn't
that-
say it.
No, I didn't say that at all.
Okay, so you don't have any text messages or emails or anything where she is, hold on, we lost Miss Sprague now. Good grief.
Just,
Hold on, Mr. Russell. Sorry.
okay.
Oh, it's 5 to 5. I do not like bifurcating hearings, especially when it looks like we're getting close to the conclusion. But I
I think
wonder
we're
if
pretty close.
I think so too. I just wonder if her phone died though, and she's in a location where she can't recharge. She was at home though, so surely she can.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looked like she was at home and she took a break there like she was at home.
Hey, Judge, did you see that ex parte order yet?
Yes, I think I approved that shortly after one of our hearings.
Okay.
Didn't I, Missy?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. I just needed to make sure that was done before the end of the day.
I think that was done an hour or two ago.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Make sure that Arlene got it faxed. She did get it just a little bit ago and got it faxed up there, emailed up there. Yeah.
Glad to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We have a lot of stuff happen.
Well, this hearing has just been fraught with issues from the first moment.
Okay. Am I ready to proceed, Judge?
Yes, please proceed.
All right. So, Mr. Russell, you said you don't have text messages or emails where she's identifying herself as the owner. Is that right?
That's correct. She verbally
So
admitted that.
she verbally said she's the owner. Okay.
That's
Mr.
right.
Will you put that contract back up again, please?
Give me a second.
All right. Mr. Russell, do you see this contract?
I do.
Is this the contract you entered into with Axe and Cross Construction?
That's correct.
And it was sent to you by Eric Killian, correct? It's at the from line at the top.
Well, I mean,
That's a yes or no. He did or he didn't.
Yeah.
then no. I
Oh,
don't know
Eric
that.
didn't.
No, I don't
Okay.
know that. It came from
Okay.
Axe Cross General Construction. I don't know if he sent it or if she sent it.
Okay, well, that's cool. Let's read it. Can you see that line that says from, Mr. Russell?
Yeah, I see that.
Can you read the name? Can you read the name after that, please, Mr. Russell?
Yeah, Eric Killian. But I
Yeah.
don't physically know if he sent it or if she sent it from their computer.
I
as
see.
well.
Okay. Okay, so let's go down. And if we go down to the next paragraph here, you see that part that says Axe and Cross General Construction?
Uh-huh.
Okay. See the address and Yates Center?
Yes,
You see Mr. Killian's name up to the first name listed, right?
that's correct.
And then you see Misty. And what's Misty's title listed on as there?
On this document, it's listed as office manager.
Awesome. Let's go to page 2. You can scroll down to page 2, Mr. Russell. So the bottom of page 2, there's a little second paragraph from the bottom says total cost $45,331.96. You see that?
I do.
And then underneath that it says materials down 25,777. Right?
That's correct.
And then underneath that it says, like we discussed, you can pay 2 payments, $15,777 and $10,000. Is that right?
That's correct.
And those 2 amounts, they correspond with what you have paid Axe and Cross on those checks that we have already previously entered into evidence, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And your understanding of those checks was that those were to buy materials, or at least a down payment on what the materials would cost. Is that right?
No, my understanding was that was for materials. That
I'm
was
sorry,
the
that's what I-
materials.
Okay, so maybe you misunderstood. So that is the total cost for materials. Is that right?
That's right. It's not a down payment, meaning there could be more for more materials. That was the payment for materials.
Gotcha. Okay. And now that's an important distinction, I think, because that's the total amount of materials in your mind, right? And all the materials listed on this contract, and there's a whole bunch of them, farmhouse, sinks, windows, flashing trim, there's a whole bunch. All of these materials listed in this contract would be covered under that 25,777. Is that right?
That's right.
And were all of those materials located on that flatbed on your property?
No,
No. Okay. What materials were located on the flatbed on your property?
as I mentioned earlier, there was lumber, there was siding,
Siding.
there was some windows they had put inside, and
Okay.
outside of that, that's all there was.
I think you mentioned plywood too. Is that right?
And
So
lumber, some
Okay.
plywood. Yeah, that's right.
And so do you know the value of those materials that was on the flatbed?
I asked for invoices, was never supplied them because I was going
Would
to
it-
keep a running total, and I never received them.
Would it be fair to say that it's less than $25,000 because that's the total cost of materials and these are not all your materials? Is that right?
Oh, I hate to assume anything.
Sure. But you would agree that the materials on that flatbed were not all of the materials that you had paid for, correct?
I would agree to that. That's correct.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this contract. At some point, you and Axe and Cross, you guys got very sideways on stuff. I understand. I think your testimony was that the last time you spoke to Misty was the 25th or 26th of July. Joe, you can go ahead and take that contract down. Thanks.
It was roughly in that. I can't.
Excuse
Tim,
me,
I'd have to
excuse me.
go through my.
Sir, stop
Sorry.
for a moment. Jill, or Miss Gillette, would you put that back up there again, please? I wanted to look at something.
Sure. Which page do you want to look at, Your Honor?
That last one you had on there, right where you had it, right before you took it off.
This one?
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sergio. All right. I think we can take that down. Yeah. So your testimony, I think, was the last time you talked to Ms. Sprague was the 25th and 26th of July. Is that right?
In that ballpark, give or take a day or two.
Okay. And did you provide those text conversations to Deputy Lazar or to the
Yes.
county attorney's office? Yes, you
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
You gave him copies of all your text communications with Ms. Sprague.
I can't say it was all. I know I sent them to my attorney, so I'm sure the county attorney should have them. If not, I can supply them.
Now, when you say your attorney, you hired an attorney, but you said you didn't file a civil suit?
No, I spoke with him and then we discussed how we should go about this.
I see. But you ultimately decided not to file a civil lawsuit against Axe and Cross.
Yeah. So he told me to go to the Greenwood County Sheriff's Department. So that's what I did.
Gotcha. Okay. So, okay. So I'm just, because we don't have copies of those, or if maybe the county attorney didn't provide those text conversations, but your testimony is you did provide those to Deputy Lazar or the county attorney's office. Is that right?
You know, it's been a year. I have supplied them. I don't know who all has them. I can supply them currently if I still need to.
Yeah. And in those text messages, conversations, the last conversation you had, just to nail down the date, was the 25th and 26th. Is that right?
Again, I cannot nail down a date. I mean, you're asking me to recite something from a year ago. So I will not do that, I guess, without being able to reference back and look.
Okay. Do you have those texts with you on your phone still?
Well, I don't want to turn yeah. Yes, I've saved it all.
Awesome.
I mean, as far as the emails, do you want those? You want me to find out when the last?
Well,
do you want Eric or Chris or whatever she goes
Misty.
by? Misty.
Just Misty. Yeah. When was the last time you talked to Misty?
Looks like July 31st.
Okay, so last time you spoke to Misty was July 31st.
Uh-huh.
And I think you testified that the materials were taken July 27th or 28th. Is that right?
No, I said that during that week at some
During
point.
that week.
Yeah.
Now your wife thought it was the 25th, but do you know what date it was? Do you have any idea?
If I had my paperwork, I noted it the day they were missing. But like I said, we've just moved and we can't find that file at this point. But I've got a lot as far as those notes of when that stuff disappeared, when the scaffolding left.
Let's focus on the materials. That's what the state's alleging. So I think I understood your wife's testimony to be that you saw them in the morning and then you went back to the home in the afternoon and they were gone. Is that your recollection as well?
Yes, that same day.
Okay.
That's correct.
So, and whatever date that was. Now, you weren't there when the items were taken, correct?
No, but my neighbor across the street saw some people pull up and load up.
Okay. So your wife said that she did, to her knowledge, no neighbor saw, but you're saying now that the neighbor did see.
That's my understanding. That's what he said. He said he saw some people that pulled up and loaded it off and drove off.
Did you tell Deputy Lazar this?
I don't remember. It was after I'd already spoke to him.
Did you have your neighbor give a statement to anybody?
I did
about
not.
who he saw do what?
No.
To your knowledge, did anybody see Miss Sprague and ID her as the one loading stuff up?
A female was not described as one of them, no.
Okay. And no video evidence as well, I'm assuming, correct?
That's correct.
Now, after this alleged date occurred and before your last conversation with Miss Sprague on the 31st, well, first of all, I guess, did the theft of the material, well, the alleged theft of the materials, did it occur before the 31st of July or after?
It's somewhere in that time frame.
Did you speak to Miss Sprague about the materials coming up missing?
Yeah, in the text. So it must have been before the 31st. Let's see. When I have payment, I'd have to read through all these to find out. Or it was in one of his threatening emails. There was some discussion about it. Yeah.
So there's a big difference, Mr. Russell, and I think this is why I'm trying to be a little specific here, because there's a big difference between Mr. Killian, Miss Sprague. They're different people. Who did what? Who said what? You know.
Well, I consider them. They were a team.
Sure. Yeah. As you will. I'd like some specific testimony, though. To your knowledge, did you ever speak to Miss Sprague specifically about the materials?
Yes, I believe so in a text. I'd have to go read through them, but there was discussion, yes.
And you have those text messages right there, right?
There's text, email, phone. There was some discussion, absolutely.
Why don't you glance through your text messages from the 25th to the 31st, which would be that last week, being generous, and tell me if that text message exists between you and Miss Sprague.
July 25th, 2024, 7:54 p.m. I'm not trying to start any BS per your email. I'm just trying to get some answers to some questions. I'd prefer to discuss this by phone or in person. You seem very upset, and I'm not sure why. If anyone should be upset, it's us. If this is the stance you want to take, we would like the materials not used or the money returned for materials not used or ordered. You can keep the labor money paid. No, and a portion of the labor money. I was hoping we could come to a better resolution, but your aggressive stance seems to say otherwise.
Is that sent by you to her, by her to you?
That's from me to her.
So you said something to her about materials. Did she say something to you about materials? That's what I asked.
She never responded to that.
Okay. So basically, is it fair to say that you have no text messages where she ever said she had the materials? Is
I
that
can't
accurate?
say. I'd have to read through Eric, the ones with Eric. I'd have to read their emails. I don't have one specifically on this thread from her, no.
Okay, so just to be clear, you don't have anything from Misty about the materials, correct?
Objection, that's misconstruing what the answer was, Your Honor.
Well, he said Eric in there. That's why I'm clarifying that
That
he
needs
has
to be
nothing from Misty.
clarified.
He
Needs
said
to be-
I have to read through all of his emails and other text strings.
Well, let him just clarify, Ms. Gillette. He can do that. Overruled.
I just want to clarify, you have nothing from
Yeah.
Misty about the materials to your knowledge in the text messages that you reviewed
In
anyway.
this thread, I do not know.
Okay. But you do believe you do have that communication with Misty, specifically with Misty.
And it could have been a phone call. There was discussion about it, yes.
Okay. All right. So now I want to, again, I want to ask a question about this. So these materials were taken sometime the week of the 27th, 28th. We heard Deputy Lazar testify that you called him out on the 3rd, initially because of threatening text messages sent by Eric Killian. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then he says that you came back into the office on the 8th to tell him about the theft, or that what you thought was a theft. Is that right?
That's correct. So maybe it was a 2-week period then. There was some time.
So my question is, why didn't you report the theft immediately upon it being taken if you thought it was a theft?
And so maybe it could have been August 8th. It was gone. They were removed at some period, this 2-week period, 1-week period, whatever it was.
Okay. All right. No further questions for this witness.
All right. Anything further, Ms. Gillette?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Any further evidence from the state,
No, Your Honor.
from the defense?
Not at this time, Your Honor, no. We would like to reserve to make a brief closing statement, Judge.
All right. Then, Ms. Gillette, do you wish a closing statement?
A brief one, Your Honor.
Go ahead, please.
Your Honor, the supplies were taken. It is the testimony of the witness that he had discussions with Misty Sprague about bringing them back, that they wanted more payment in order to bring the items back. She is the one who cashed the check. She did not cash those checks as an entity of the company. She cashed those checks with her own signature. She held herself out to be an owner to these individuals and responsible for the company, and that she was someone who they were negotiating with, and she held herself out to be in charge. The materials have not been returned. The money has not been returned. She is involved with it. It's the witness's testimony that she had said that they had the materials and they would bring them back upon further payment. It has not been returned. The money has not been returned. We'd asked the court to bound her over. We have on or about August 3rd, because that was about the time that the reports were being made and the time frame that was provided. That we now know it could be up to a week window, and we can modify the document to say the week window. We'd ask that the court bind her over on the theft of the $25,777 worth of money and materials that are missing from the Russells.
Mr. Favre.
So, Judge, I think criminal informations are meant to be specific, and a probable cause hearing is a low standard, but it is some standard. And I just want to point out kind of some of the things I've heard that I think are kind of an issue here. The first is the timeline. I mean, that's maybe the least of these issues, but we have timeline issues all over the place. Could be the 25th, could be the 8th, could be anywhere in between. We don't really know. We have Miss Sprague. Now, I think the strongest evidence that we have, I mean, all the documentation doesn't say she's an owner. At best, it says operations manager. Perhaps she held herself out as that. It seemed a little confusing from Miss Russell's testimony. Mr. Russell seems to think that she was. Even if she's the owner, that does not make her responsible for any theft. And this is the biggest issue we have. There's two really big issues in this. The first is just IDing who did the theft, right? There's just zero evidence that Miss Sprague actually did the actual taking of this property. And even Mr. Russell says, my neighbor says it was not a woman. So that's according to Mr. Russell's own testimony. There's no evidence at all that she ordered men to take stuff. That basically the state's case is, well, we think she's the owner based on what Mr. Russell says. Therefore, she's on the hook for what may have happened, and we don't know what happened. That's essentially the state's case here in regards to who took this property. Perhaps the bigger technical issue is we don't know how much was taken. Like, we have a total material cost of $25,777. That's indisputable. That's backed up by the evidence. But we know that what was on the flatbed, which was allegedly taken by who knows who, that it wasn't that amount that was taken. We don't know how much was on the flatbed. We can't presume that it was even over 1,000. I mean, you would look at it and think lumber, probably over 1,000, but we don't have any evidence that's even over 1,000. All we have is, here's the total amount of the contract. Some of that was on a flatbed. The flatbed came up missing, and we think Miss Sprague did it, even though there's no eyewitness testimony that a woman did it. Nobody said she did it. I mean, it's even the statement that Miss Gillette made in her closing about getting property back at the end was not documented by anybody, and nobody seems to recall how that came up. So, I mean, the conversation itself is just it doesn't meet the probable cause standard, to be honest with you. If the state wants to go back, do some more digging, Deputy Lazar basically testified he did no digging. If we want to go back and do some digging and refile, fine. But I think this needs to be dismissed without prejudice. This hasn't hit the standard.
Well, this was convoluted from the start, but I think we all got to the point where we knew what the evidence alleged was, and we've reviewed the charge itself. And frankly, I have to adopt Mr. Favre's arguments and find that we don't have probable cause to connect this defendant to being the one to obtain or exert unauthorized control over the construction supplies and materials. This is not a civil case. A civil case could very well come out differently. A refiling in a criminal case could come out differently. But what we have today, we don't have the probable cause necessary to bind the defendant over. Not saying she didn't do it, not saying she did, but with what was presented, we don't have anything to connect her for being the one that actually took the construction property out, and then also those other arguments the defendant made, I would adopt as well, through her counsel. So at this time, this case is dismissed without prejudice, so it can be refiled should the state elect, and this matter is adjourned. Defendant released from her bond.
Thank you, Judge.